Hi, thanks so much for joining in. You're watching the NDTV network and this is TechXpedite. This edition is from India's financial capital, Mumbai.
TechXpedite by Games 24/7 was conceptualized with a vision to give a platform of growth to Indian startups solving challenges in the fields of artificial intelligence, gaming, assistive and inclusive technology. With over 350 entries, TechXpedite as a startup accelerator program is focused towards giving back to the growing Indian startup ecosystem.
Our hope is that with this program, we are able to kind of offer a launch pad, let's say, or a starting point for a lot of very innovative entrepreneurs out there that are both looking for, capital. Obviously, all entrepreneurs need capital to grow their business, to build their business. But also, I think probably the more important part for us is that, over the course of the last 20 years, this, being a technology business that deploys AI, data science, we think we just have a lot to offer to young entrepreneurs. We've walked that journey.
The event was graced by Shri Deependra Singh Kushwaha, who not only shared his own words of encouragement and enthusiasm for startups, he also shared the government of Maharashtra's vision for digital India's entrepreneurial future.
Startups are the forefront of India's economic transformation, driving our digital revolution. Since 2016, India has become the world's third largest startup ecosystem, thanks to the synergy between the government, industry, startup and innovators and other stakeholders. Under the dynamic leadership of Honorable Chief Minister Shri Devendra Fadnavis, we are thriving to achieve $1 trillion economic goal by 2030, and Mumbai is going to play again a most important role into this particular movement or achievement. We are building an AI lab with the help of STPI Pune and Government of Maharashtra, and this lab will be freely available to all the startup and innovators, especially in particular sector of AI. You are crafting the future of Maharashtra. We pledge to stand by you, offering resources, mentorship, and the support you need to succeed. Together, let us transform our vision into reality and foster meaningful collaborations.
To the soon-to-be-announced cohort of 17 startups, an exciting VC roundtable was organized with some of India's most prominent faces being part of this lively session, thereby giving them a quick sneak peek at what do VCs look for before investing in a startup, what a founder-VC relationship looks like, amongst other invaluable insights.
The first launch event was in Bengaluru. There's been an event in Delhi and in Hyderabad, and this, of course, is the Mumbai event. Mumbai is known as the city of dreams, and just a few kilometers north of here, you have a lot of individuals that are starstruck and have dreams of their own to hit the silver screen. In this room, we have very different dreams, but equally exciting, I think. Let's start with, I think a lot of people wonder, do you invest in the company, do you invest in the idea, or do you invest in the individual behind the idea?
We invest very early. We look at the founder, and after that, everything else comes into play, which is, the sector they are in, the growth, is the team right, are they, the right business model, are they thinking right? But at the center of all this, the failures and successes of any startup is the founder.
They will have all the pedigree, they will have some experience and all, but it's only the execution which only time will tell. And I think that's where your understanding of the space, your understanding of the skills required to execute that particular business, whether the founder has that particular skill. He or she might be good at something else, but for that particular business where they are made of. So I think it is a mix of all of this. Founder definitely carries a lot of weightage, but it's about the space also that they are operating in, the market size, and how they are thinking about their own business.
I mean, most of the time you're talking to those founders that you're going to invest in. There are many things they will not know. It's a given. And the question is, how do they handle things that they do not know? How are they approaching things that they still do not understand? And that tends to give us a good sense of, are these people obviously these are all people who are hungry for success, but are these people also hungry for learning more? Which is the only way, in our opinion, in our business, that you're going to eventually succeed. But definitely going to be struck by a number of failures and more failures and successes along the way. And how willing are you to learn and kind of change and move forward?
How much engagement do you have in the operations of an entity that you invest in?
I mean, failures is very much a part of game. I mean, it's an expected outcome. But to your question on how much do you engage, as much as the founder wants and as much as the founder needs, both of them can be very different. So sometimes you have to push and sort of make the founder listen. At other times, you just have to hold back if the founder executing well, is on track and knows his stuff. You really don't need to intervene, come in the way, enjoy the ride.
As you move from a very, very early stage to like mid stage, the importance of the founder though becomes lesser, and the importance of the business becomes more, because eventually everyone's investing in the business. Sometimes it's a toss up. You end up finding that some startups get funded a lot of money but may not succeed, and some people never get funded and have built businesses.
The way at least I think about this is it revolves around that person, and then that person's idea, and then how that person has brought, could be one person or multiple founders, how has that group of individuals or individual brought a team around them that kind of think and believe in that idea, and to the extent they will go. You can't talk about EBITDA on day one. Right? Because if you are thinking of an idea that has never happened in the world, you even don't know what you're going after, but you don't know what all you need to do to go after that. Now AI is a big thing. It requires an amount of capital all of us have been wrong about. Right? Quick commerce, for example, e-commerce, quick commerce, financial services, fintech. This has required a lot more capital than any of our Excel models ever forecasted. Right? That's the bad part about this job. You tend to forecast a lot, but reality tends to be very, very different.
Which is a very important point, because the focus of this time's TechXpedite has been about disruptors. And look around the room, you're talking about more businesses or more startups in the AI space, right? Because you're in uncharted territory. How do you deal with that?
Right. One is me and Bhavin, who's my partner, we try to stay focused on what our mission statement is and what we are actually trying to achieve. Right. We try to avoid the uncharted territory example. The other thing that we are investing in right now is, because we're a very, very data-centric company, and what we're trying to do right now is that if you are a marketing manager, you're a product manager, and you think, I want to look at this cohort of users from this period of time, you type the query out in English, and boom, comes out the data. Now that's going to be super value enhancing for us, But while we're looking at AI, like, I'm actually not thinking of doing that much AI inside my game right now, which is my core, core business.
So you don't try to force fit it.
There's no point in force fitting AI into every single thing just for the sake of it. The way we think about it is everyone's going to be building on AI, some shape or form. Different businesses will have different requirements. Just the way we have tech companies and tech-enabled companies, we will have AI companies and AI-enabled companies. And that's just the journey that's going to play out. I don't know if others have a different view, but I don't know how much early stage VC can really adopt. That's fine.
Well, why don't you ask them?
No, sure. I agree and I disagree a little bit. I think a time will come when we'll have VC firms, and we are one of them, with me and my dog and AI running everything. So we are using AI. It's, I agree with him that it can be used to a point. But the point now with AI is, even in a VC firm, any firm, is not what you want software to do, what software can do for you. It's reverse. So, all the processes, which not just a VC, any firm, all the processes, time will come that, AI will be ingested so much into it that guys like you and me, we have to do something better, more value added stuff.
Venture investing is very subjective, as is saying, and it also involves, especially early stage investment, especially involves a lot of emotional, decisioning, and all those factors matter a lot. But I don't see a decision being made whether to invest on a company or not using an AI. That would be a very far-fetched scenario.
Okay. Let's talk about collaboration. Let's talk about how you deal with your peers, because this is the best forum to do that.
Do it day in, day out. I think on this panel
Yeah.
itself, if we see the flow works like from him, the deal comes to me, and from me, it goes to him, and it goes to him, because there are people at various stages. And of course, it's him, Trivi is going to drive this entire conversation with all of us.
I do the hard work and then you get the deal.
So I think at each stage, obviously the filtering works. At each stage, there is collaboration, there is co-investment. I have collaborated with at least 4 people on this panel itself on various deals at various stages, right? And we have done deals together, we have rejected deals together, we have made money, we have lost money. Right? So everything has happened, but collaboration, importance of that cannot be undermined. I think no matter whatever technology does, our own ability to share information, to understand things, to put perspective around things, which are, mutually intuitive, sometimes counterintuitive. These are very important points. And that's where I think we score, understand the industry overall.
I'm curious about the supply of startups. There are several that are in this room. Is it harder or easier at this juncture to find a great opportunity?
There's still been a good consistent supply of things to innovate on. Right? There is still more and more digital unlocking happening. There is artificial intelligence that has come in, right? As long as market has these newer and newer inflection points, there is always new things to build for entrepreneurs.
How do you decide when to pull the plug? And is that the end of the road? Have you seen founders come back from the absolute dregs?
Absolutely, founders do come back. And as far as we as investors is concerned, we come in at Series A, Series B level. At that stage, we do expect the founders to figure out their economics, right? Our ecosystem has sort of learned it the hard way, that ultimately, if you want to get your companies listed, which all of us do want, right?
Yes.
I mean, ultimately, that's the objective and that's the end game. For some, it is 2 years away. For some, it is 10 years away. But ultimately, that realization has to sink in that you have to sell to a set of investors who do not understand anything other than profit, right? I'm seeing ecosystem at all stages sort of convey that message to founders, sometimes in softer manners, sometimes in louder manners, right? And depending on the stage, etc. But I think the entire ecosystem is now more conscious of it and is therefore more selective.
Have an idea right at the start when you invest in a company that this company is going to take this much time, and how do you follow through on that?
At least the way we think is, if the founder or a group of founders is right, if the idea is working and if the company is working, it will find a path to get to an outcome that works for everyone involved. You don't know, it's very uncharted at any point in time, even at when we invest. Like, don't think of that target and life. Again, you have to return money in our field. Some funds have to do it in 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, some funds are evergreen. So we do have that clock, and I think it becomes, and again, it all comes down to one question you had asked, right? Like collaboration. I think collaboration is oxygen. It's not essential, it is the most essential thing when you have a group of investors, employees, a group of independent board members and founders. Any of this is like a wheel. Any of this wheels is off, you are in a big problem, because if you are not collaborated, none of this happens.
VC funds are not worried about bad outcomes. We actually want to handle the good outcomes well. To give you an example, suppose a VC fund is, say, $100 of value. They make 10 investments of $10 each. And we realize that 5 are going bust, which is not very unlikely. Yeah. And the one which is going successful is going to give me 400.
Yeah.
Those are the more tricky ones. The ones which are going to go bust, we handle them anyway, because we know that there are going to be a few bad ones that are there. But handling the ones which are successful is a lot more challenging.
I think it's interesting what this platform is providing, right? And it's allowing you to speak to them at a certain stage of their development.
The platforms like these are providing a network where you have people like us on one side, then you have supply or founders at the other side. You can kind of put them on one table and kind of get them the right mentorship. I think that's more important at early stages.
So capital is one of the resource only. I mean, there's a lot more which happens other than capital. So mentorship is this funny situation where I don't know how much the founder wants, how much we can give.
That's exactly the point.
How much he absorbs, and how much he says, don't take calls anymore. Take a hike. The two fundamental shifts which are happening in India. One is there are a lot of pitch decks coming from tier 2 and tier 3 cities. So this thing as startups as the first career of choice is now seeping into tier 2, tier 3 as well. And the second big and very interesting, statistically from our 50,000 pitch decks we've received is the number of women as founders or co-founders used to be earlier in single digits. Now it is actually moving upwards of 25-28% in that range.
I think what's also important to look at the age diversity also. Everyone wants to fund a young, bubbling, guy with energy or girl with energy coming fresh out of the college, IIT and all. We have also looked at founders who start up at 46, 47 or 50 sometime, right? Now, obviously that also has certain value. So I think it's about looking at the idea, not getting perplexed with any particular trait, be it age, be it gender, be it geography. One biggest resource that startup needs or the founder needs is your trust and confidence. You are buying equity in his company, not himself or herself. It's very important that you allow them that space, allow them to flourish and support it from outside. Mentoring sometimes is abused.
I think distribution is key, and platform like yours could provide that distribution to early stage.
Even very simple things, sometimes very simple things also are not so simple for an early stage founder who's fighting 500 battles a day on 30th day of the startup. So for some it could be taxation, for some it could be regulatory clarity, for some it could be listing clarity, for some it could be as something as simple as, okay, how does corporate GST tax work for me?
Yes.
Right. So those things can be very, very important on top of what all this panel has spoken about.
I would rather see a founder who's bootstrapped, not willing to raise capital, and finally someone convinces him. That's a better story than.
So that's the trick, no? To finally someone convinces him.
So there you go. I think it's ample insight for all sorts of individuals. Those looking to start up, you've got a great idea about what the people who invest in companies like yours are looking for. And I think it's been an absolutely fascinating conversation, insightful conversation. I hope it's been pleasurable for you as well. I certainly take a lot home with me. Gentlemen, thank you so much for taking the time.
Thanks for having me.
We at Coira, we are building a digital music infrastructure which is powered by AI and 5G technologies.
Our platform has a learner's journey and a trainer's journey where trainers would be able to create the personalized AI coach, which is multilingual.
We received more than 300 applications, out of which 17 startups make up the cohort. The breakup of the 17 startups, pretty much 12 in AI, there are 3 in assistive tech and 2 in gaming.
And so, the 17 startups that make up the cohort of TechXpedite are Ficus, Be Able Health, Cairo Vision, Chitu, Coira, Gabify, Glovertrix, Homeground, Laya Plus, Ample.ai, Noha.ai, Clan, Skitty, Spoda, Tutti Frutti Interactive, Walkbot.ai, Zuron.ai. Of these 17, 4 physically attended the event and were given an opportunity to present a short elevator pitch to everyone present, and they also got facilitated by Mr. Kushwaha.
My name is Vivart Rangari, and I'm the co-founder and CEO of Coira, a music technology company which is going to redefine the future of the global music industry. Right? Very recently, last year in September, Coldplay announced its concert in Mumbai and the tickets got sold almost in 1 hour. But do we have a band in India which is able to do a similar impact out there in the world? No. Why? Because the current music industry doesn't have the digital infrastructure to build artists who can rule the world. But we at Coira, we are building a digital music infrastructure which is powered by AI and 5G technologies for putting the Indian artists on the globe. I'm very happy to be a part of the TechXpedite Games 24/7 cohort.
Our vision is basically to make sports data accessible and sports data analysis accessible and easy for everyone to use. So that's the vision that we are building on. Broadcasters are one set of customers who we have. who basically need to create stories for their pre-match shows, and also commentators while the game's going on. They need to know, hey, when did something happen last? Poda helps with that solution, and we are almost 15x faster than what is available today. And then our next set of users are teams, sports teams who wants to analyze, how do I get this player out? What's my strategy for a game? What should be my starting 11 for a specific match? That's something we look at. And then the third ones are news websites, sports websites, and fantasy platforms, where if their users want to know and analyze some data saying, hey, which player should I pick today? Is he going to be in the dream team or no? Stuff like that can be something that the AI can help. So think of it as an agent that you can, or a friend that you can just call and get that data for.
At Ample, we empower organizations. We use AI to deliver personalized learning. We call ourselves as the new Bob of LMSs. And looking at the learning exposure with the enterprises, we've seen that the trainings have just become the checkbox in every organization. And that's where we bring in role plays, we bring in personalized AI coach for every individual to get onto their own personalized journey, and that's multilingual.
Our platform has a learner's journey and a trainer's journey, where trainers would be able to create the personalized AI coach, which is multilingual. Specifically, we started with pharma, where the buyer is more scientific, where I have to go and pitch it to the doctor. So the AI coach will come and teach me about probing questions, objection handlings, and it will also behave like a doctor and do a role play and give me a real-time feedback. So that's where with our existing customers, we are seeing good confidence and good knowledge retention, and hence good conversions in the sales.
We are building a platform where we are going to identify emotions using computer vision AI. It's not just emotions, sentiments along with attention. So this can be used in multiple ways. In schools, you can see whether the child is attentive or not, whether the child is not in the right state of mind, or you can go in the corporates where the employee, is he in the stress state, is he not in the right state where he will not be productive.
So you can see the live technology where somebody is speaking, and you can see the sentiments, what he's going through. We are not showing the audio part, so you can connect it better. So similarly, it's live. What you think, what you calibrate in your mind, and how you present yourself, it comes live with you. You can change yourself, you can be mindful about it, and that makes wonders with the children also. Thank you so much.
So there you have it, 17 startups selected through a rigorous program. On the other side of this mentorship program, they'll come out stronger with a clearer sense of what their idea is and what their strategy is. Tune in to more of TechXpedite.